This Icefall Mantle build allows you to have unlimited stasis shards, amazing survivability, insane uptime on frost armor, while absolutely carrying your team in activities like Expert Onslaught. And if you want to know how to do all of this, make sure you stick to the end of the video. You see, a couple months ago, I made a really great Icefall Mantle build before the rework, but now the moment that you pop your class ability, you can instantly get 5 stacks of frost armor, which is equivalent to 22.5% damage reduction according to the Destiny Compendium. Alongside that, you also get a chunk of health whenever you gain stacks of frost armor with Icefall Mantle. And boy, there are plenty of ways to get those stacks, and I'll get to that in just a bit. But enough of my yap, let's move on to the subclass. And the first thing that you will want is Glacial Quake, because if you don't have this super on, you cannot use Icefall Mantle. That's just how it works. Now the next thing we're going to use is Thrusters as our class ability. Reason being is that it has the shortest cooldown out of all of the other choices. Then for the jump, I'm not your dad, so you can choose whatever you want. But for the melee, we're going to be choosing the shield throw. We're choosing this because it gives us a free void overshield, and this allows us to proc radiant much safer with another fragment I'm going to mention a bit soon. Then for the grenades, I'm choosing the pulse grenade. Now you're free to use something like the suppressor grenade. I just find more fun with the pulse grenades because I can electrify everything in the room. Plus it does pretty good damage. Then for the aspects, we're going to be using Unbreakable. Now this thing got giga buffed to the point where I would say this is basically Sentinel Shield. Not only can you hold this for way longer, but you can basically hold this forever, and while you're holding this, you gain Void Overshield on top of that. You can use this to close gaps, res your teammates, and disorient and weaken anyone that tries to get close to you. Now the next one we're using is Diamond Lance. This thing will drop whenever you get an ability kill, shatter something, or use a stasis weapon. Now Diamond Lance got changed in the recent patch. You see, they changed it so that your Diamond Lance will actually shatter on impact, and when you slam the lance on the ground, you gain 2 stacks of frost armor. This pairs really well with Icefall Mantles, as I mentioned before that whenever you gain stacks of frost armor, you get a chunk of health. So if you're kind of in an oh shit situation, you can just slam the floor with this and just get some health back. Now moving on to the fragments, our first one is going to be Facet of Dominance. This reads that your Void Grenades weaken targets and your Arc Grenades jolt. So if you stuck with me and chose the Pulse Grenades, you get Jolting Arc Grenades. But on top of that, when you block with your Unbreakable Shield, you also weaken anyone that's in front of you. So with this, you kind of get the best of 2 worlds. Jolting arc grenades, and anyone in front of you will get weakened by your Unbreakable. Then after that, these 2 fragments I would say go hand in hand, and this is the way that you make a shit ton of stasis shards, and that is with Facet of Command and Facet of Awakening. The first benefit of Facet of Command is freezing or suppressing a target reloads your weapons, and on top of that, increases the weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness. We don't really care about that, but the reload is nice. But the big juice is in defeating frozen or suppressed targets creates stasis shards and void breaches. And man, oh man, we are freezing everything. Now, Facet of Command has a cooldown, but I'm a damn greedy bastard. So I'm gonna be taking Facet of Awakening, which reads that rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage, or super final blows, generate an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. And I want to spoil something for you. I'm going to be using Aegir Scepter, and this is going to spawn a shit ton of stasis shards on top of Facet of Command. So if you really think about it, like, we're going to be having unlimited overshields from throwing a fuck ton of Captain America shields. But this doesn't just count for stasis. You can also make void breaches from ricocheting those Captain America shields everywhere and killing everything, which void breaches contribute towards your class ability, which we really want since we're using Icefall Mantle. And while we're throwing those shields, we're proccing Radiant with Facet of Dawn. This shouldn't have any explanation, but we basically get a damage buff from this equal to 25%, and we can take care of barrier champions. And for quality of life, we're running Facet of Ruin, which allows us to get more damage from shattering enemies that are frozen. Not only does this buff our Aegir Scepter damage, but it also helps us with our super if we choose to pop it. And then lastly, we're going to be running Facet of Balance, where rapidly defeating targets with light damage grant melee energy, and rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grant grenade energy. And if you couldn't already tell, we have a ton of stasis going on in this build. which allows us to get a bunch of grenade energy, which in turn gives us a lot of unbreakable shields or jolting arc grenades. And with the amount of stasis shards that we're making, we don't really need melee energy, but this fragment allows us to have a really nice cycle of abilities going. Now moving on to the weapons, Aegir Scepter is going to be by far the best weapon for this build. If you've never used it before, you definitely should, because this thing is a crowd clearing monster. And even more so when you consume your super energy. If you don't know what it does a slow burst around anyone that you kill. And if you get a final blow with it, you also get ammo back into your mag. Stacking Facet of Command with that, and you essentially have a never-ending Aegir Scepter beam going down your enemy's throats. And then when you consume your super, it freezes and slows literally anything, like a Kamehameha blast. The thing is insane. Just use it. For the secondary, I'm running double special and using Indebted Kindness because I like Volt Shot. I would also say Blinding GL is also a pretty good option if you want to use something else. Then for the heavy, you can use anything. I like using Edge Transit because I can also make Void Breaches, and it's a really good grenade launcher. And for the armor mods, starting with the helmet, you honestly just need a Stasis Siphon. The other two, you can make it a heavy ammo finder and scout. I like doing that just because I like heavy ammo, but you can really do whatever you want. For the arms, I'm running a Firepower just to make orbs, and a Focusing Strike because we're getting so many melees that chucking that shield and everything will get us our class ability faster. And then for the last one, I'm running a Fastball because I like the way that the grenade is thrown that way. If you don't like Fastball, you can do something like Impact Induction. On the chest, it doesn't really matter. And then for the legs, I would use Elemental Charge as we're making so many stasis shards, as I said, that we're basically always going to have armor charges. And Insulation so that we can reduce our class ability when we pick up an orb, and a Recuperation so that we get health when we also pick up an orb. On the class item, we're using a Reaper mod so that after we pop it and get a kill, we can make an orb. Then a powerful attraction to collect any orbs when we pop our class ability, and then a special finisher because I'm using a double special setup, and so we can consume our armor charges. This is how I have my artifact setup, but I would say the most important one would probably be Severed Cold, which I do not have yet because I haven't played that much because I'm editing this video for you guys. So it would be really appreciated if you liked the video. I would also say Wind Chill is a pretty important one, as rapid stasis weapon precision hits grant you frost armor, which is like free health for literally just shooting people. But I say this one because when you pick up shards, instead of giving you melee ability, it gives you class ability energy. So you can kind of imagine you'd literally have unlimited class abilities. So you're constantly freezing everything around you because popping your class ability also does that. And whenever you pop this, you get unlimited frost armor, and you get unlimited health because you're getting frost armor. But I would also argue that getting unlimited melees is a bit more fun, so it's up to you and clicking this button. Now, in terms of the playstyle, it's pretty simple. You can first pop your class ability to get your frost armor, kill some stuff with Aegir Scepter, throw your shield, or push forward with your unbreakable shield. If played correctly, you can literally tank everything with your unbreakable shield, and killing something with the shield will spawn a diamond lance, and you can either throw it at someone or slam the floor to keep your frost armor up. While you're killing everything, making orbs, and doing all that good stuff, you honestly don't even need Facet of Hope to get your class ability up more quickly, especially if you have that artifact mod. But with all that being said, if you enjoyed the video, why not like it? It really helps me out a lot and it encourages me to make more build videos for you. And I do have to say, I got a lot of builds coming up in the future and you definitely don't want to miss that. And if you are going to try this build out, comment down below how you felt about it. Did you make any tweaks? Do you think I smell funny? Or do you think we should free P. Diddy? Let me know down in the comments below. And with all that being said, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Peace and love, baby.